Good evening, everybody. Welcome to CC Fridays. So this is our 29th week that we are doing CC Fridays. It has indeed been a great learning journey with all of you joining in week on week. I've seen, in the last couple of weeks, I've seen that probably being inspired from us, there has been a couple of education companies who started doing Fridays. So I've seen one Friday at 5. I've seen one Friday fun day. So they're also doing some great work, and I'm really happy that this initiative of CC Fridays has inspired people to do something similar. And I hope that all of you have enjoyed most of the sessions, and there has been some or the other learning. Uh, why? I'll also today, at the end of today's session, we'll also be doing a poll, uh, which will help us, which I need all of your help to really decide how to take CC Fridays forward. So at the end of the poll, once today's session ends, we'll do a poll, and that will really help us identify what's the way forward from here for CC Fridays. Having said that, today's session promises to be a really nice and engaging one. Mukesh sir, Ajay sir, Ruli ma'am, and Gautam ji will be sharing about something that they're thinking and something that they're ideating, something that they're brewing for the last 2 to 3 weeks, and which they want to share with all of you. And they're really happy to take suggestions. They're really happy to take more ideas and collaborate with all of you, and the ideas that you share will definitely help enhance what they are thinking of right now. So feel free to use the chat box to put in any of your ideas that you want to share. uh, Use the Q&A section to ask as many questions. Like I've always said, feel free to be anonymous if you want, to not to share your name. So feel free to be anonymous. Use the Q&A for your questions, and I'll take that up at the end. And use the chat box to share all your ideas that are, no idea is bad or good. I think all ideas are great. So feel free to use the chat box and share whatever you're thinking as Sir, Ajay Sir, Roli Ma'am, and Gautam Ji, they present today's session. So over to you, Mukesh Sir.
Thank you, Siddharthji. I think the power of two and the experience of three will not only inspire educational companies, but many more educators in and around the country. And with this silent prayer, let me just move on to the presentation. Mathematical thinking beyond math. This evening's presentation is a product of an exciting, enriching, and an enjoyable process. Ever since the NEP distinguished between numeracy and mathematical thinking, my curiosity was kindled, and I kind of chewed the brains of a lot of my maths teachers after a lot of reading on the subject and with a lot of informed discussions with my colleagues, especially Ajay, Gautam, and Roli. We embarked on a journey to decide on what we could present for a CC Friday on the subject mathematical thinking. I don't know if I have bitten off more than what I can chew, but I'm sure my team at Varanasi knows that I do not hesitate to go where even angels fear to tread. And therefore, I am here leading the pack on a subject on which I don't have any idea. But I think ever since the NEP came in, I got in a lot of ideas, and especially with the help of these three. So the journey since the decision was conveyed to the final discussion this morning has been really delightful. And I only hope that some of our joy will rub off on you as the presentation progresses. Let's hope the product that you will all see this evening is as good or as enjoyable as the process that we had. We begin with the postulate math. Mistakes allowed, thinking happens. This is what we perhaps thought of as math. And, as Rekha in Khoobsurat very beautifully said, that हम लोग कुछ निर्मल आनंद के लिए करते हैं. So if math करने से हम लोगों को निर्मल आनंद मिलेगा, then nothing like it. This slide that you see right now highlights how NEP links mathematical thinking with problem solving. And during the next 30 to 40 minutes, we have tried to elucidate and explain how the two are linked, problem solving and mathematical thinking. In order to break the journey and have a break from the monotony, may I now invite Ajay Tiwari to pick up the baton from where I take off.
First of all, a very good afternoon to everyone. Before I say a word on mathematical thinking, I would request you all to click the link in the chat box to reach up to a spreadsheet and assign your name to any one of the groups you like. Remember to do the needful within a minute. The link is in your chat box. Please click the link. You have a minute to assign yourself in a group, whichever you want to be in.
Ajay ji, link is not there, Ajay ji.
Ajay, put it in the chat box. The timer has already started.
Gautam ji? Gautam sir?
I think उनका internet गड़बड़ हो गया है, Ajay ji.
Gautam sir, please stop the timer.
The link is coming. Just 1 second, please hang on, everybody. The link is going to come.
The link is to be posted by Gautam sir. Gautam sir?
I think his internet is gone, Ajay ji.
Okay.
Ajay, do you have the link with you? No, Gautam has done it. He's done it. Gautam has just posted it.
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah. No issues. We'll make up for the seconds. We can give them a little more time, Ajay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
You can give 30 more seconds.
We are going to. I'm going to have a count on that.
Yamini, just check the link. It's there in the box. Chat box में link Gautam Mishra ने डाला है.
Even
Smita,
though the 31 seconds, those are remaining out of the 60 seconds, would be more than sufficient for you people to assign yourself in a group. I would request you people to remember the name of the group, whichever you are going to be in.
Ajay, let me pause.
Gautam sir, please, whenever you are sharing the link, make sure that there is selected an option as on panelists and attendees. I think you have only posted it for the only panelists.
But it is posted to both.
Yeah, okay, it's got. Now Meenakshi and Bhumika have confirmed. Ravi also confirms.
Yes, now.
So, yeah, all right. Thank you, Pankaj.
Never mind, I would repeat that please remember the name of the group, whichever you are finding yourself comfortable in. Though the names may not be very common names that you may have come across whenever you have assigned yourself in any of the groups, in any of the activities taken part in. May I request Gautam sir to once again continue with the timer? Thank you, sir. Meanwhile, if you have already assigned yourself in a group, just have a closer look to the name of the group and please think about the name, because we are going to use this later in the second half of the session. The time is ticking away. I'm going to give 5-10 seconds more because the link was posted somewhere later. Please assign yourself in any of the groups you want to be in. I can see you have still not done the needful. If you need some more time, I'm going to provide that. And even if you don't do that, still it is fine. So 5
No,
more seconds.
Ajay, I guess we should give them a little more time, because
Okay.
since there is going to be a link to the link towards the end, we might as well get a few into the groups,
Okay.
so that
Okay.
we can do a debrief on that.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, I think we
Now
have
I
a
can
few
see
names.
many of
Yes.
you. Yes. 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 So the names are flooded over here. So now I can talk about further. Meanwhile, you can also give yourself one of the groups, whichever you want to be in: reciprocal, ornament, quarter, whatever. Okay, let the time be over now. Let us see what the outcome is and could be. Actually, let me tell you people that this simple activity is the complete answer within itself to the question that I had to reply to. While assigning your names, a few of you may have hesitated to go first. Then after finding his or her friend in a group, may have thought of being in the same group. Or maybe some of you thought of going to a group where there are good orators, or maybe the ones good at computer skills. I would even say that still there are a few who have yet not taken part in this activity. But
Ajay,
see,
I can't help but comment the fact that there is a large number and in the group called Ornament. So I'm sure that has, I think the fall in gold prices perhaps has triggered them to get into that.
really, sir. What a wonderful assessment of this, sir. Thank you, sir. So I continue. But let me tell you, in each of the possibilities that I mentioned just now, what everyone did was thinking over pros and cons, reasoning within themselves, visualizing or analyzing, and each bit constitutes mathematical thinking. अब क्या हम इस ग्रुप में जा रहे हैं, तो अब क्या होने वाला है, कौन सी एक्टिविटी इसके बाद कराई जाएगी, वगैरह वगैरह, ऐसा कुछ शायद हम लोगों ने, सब लोगों ने सोचा होगा. So could be few of the thoughts, few of the reasons must have been in your minds, and this is what we are going to talk about under mathematical thinking. Okay, let me take up one more example. Please post your answer in the chat box for which of the boxes given here will fill up first if the water from the tap is going to drip in. 15 seconds, time starts now. And I can see this time the audience taking part in this activity very enthusiastically. Thank you very much for the same. 2 seconds more. And thank you very much for the time. Let us see what is it actually about. Since flowing water seeks its own level, and we know that water flows from the level of higher concentration to the level of lower concentration. So what I think, box number 3 and 4 will be filled in simultaneously, because the junction of boxes 3 and 4 are at the same level, and this is the reason boxes 3 and 4 will be filled in simultaneously, because of the anomalous property of water. I hope you enjoyed these activities. There is an additional task for you, which is on the next slide. You can take a screenshot of the same and can do this activity later whenever you are free during your leisure hours. Now I am going to introduce formally the mathematical thinking for you people. Every individual possesses the quality of creativity and the quality of technique. The correct use of the combination of the two in unleashing the beauty and wonder of any situation. whether related to a subject of course of study or related to real life, is called mathematical thinking. It involves various steps that are often done together, like breaking the task into components, identifying similar tasks that may help, identifying appropriate knowledge and skills, identifying assumptions, selecting appropriate strategy, considering alternative approaches, looking for a pattern or connection, and generating examples. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ajay. I think taking a clue from your previous slide, let's try and break up this entire mathematical thinking into its different components, for which I will invite Gautam to take the baton from Ajay.
Thank you very much, sir. It's a wonderful question that what are the components of mathematical thinking? Although, as rightly Ajay sir said, that all other subjects and everything what we think is related to mathematical thinking. But still there are certain components which we will be discussing today. One is exploring, then stepwise calculation or stepwise methodology, that is algorithm, then visualizing, then conjecturing, generalizing, questioning and explaining, proving and verification, and abstract mathematical thinking. Each aspect or a combination of any two or more requires conceptual understanding, that is comprehension of concept, and procedural fluency, that is carrying out procedures flexibly, accurately, efficiently, and appropriately.
Thank you, Gautam. Are you done?
Yes, sir. Please.
Okay, can we move to the next slide? Yeah. I think that was a very systematic explanation of the components. It's time now for Rolly to take us through an exploration of the first component of MT.
Thank you so
Over
much.
to you, Rolly.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving me a chance to elaborate on the topic. Now, as rightly said by Frank Baumann, exploration is really the essence of human spirit. The day a child ventures in this world, he starts exploring, and he is meant to explore this earth unhindered by fear, propelled by curiosity, and as a sense of discovery too. This becomes an inevident part of an every individual as he grows. So here we have another interesting activity in a form of a riddle, where I would like my friends to just ponder over and get the answer for this. Now, I'll also request everyone to please post your answers in the chat box, and I read the question for you. A Japanese ship sailing in the Pacific Ocean was stuck in a major storm. During the storm, the captain of the ship was murdered. The master at arms questions four suspects. The cook said he was busy holding the wine barrels in place, and the ship's engineer was fixing the signal. The housekeeper was fixing the flag that had turned upside down, and the captain's wife had retreated below to the deck because the storm made her seasick. Who do you think is the murderer? And we allot 45 seconds for this question, for this activity. So I would request all my colleagues to please ponder over the question and send the answer in the chat box. The housekeeper, the cook, okay. All right, I can see answers have already started pouring in. House, okay. Master
Rolly,
cook.
could we just ask all of
Yes,
them who are
sir.
giving answers to give reasons as to, behind their choice? If somebody said wife, why? Housekeeper, why?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, that would help us understand their thinking.
Why? Can anybody? Yeah. Can any one of you? But sir, they will have to.
No, they won't be able to unmute.
Unmute.
Just put their reasons in the chat box.
Acha, okay. Can we write the reason in the chat box, please? All those who have given their answers, those who have chosen the captain or the housekeeper or wife, captain's wife, it was, if she was seasick, what was she doing? Okay, storm, as because of the same housekeeper. Okay, Bhumika ma'am or any other one, can you please write down the answer? Housekeeper is a wrong answer according to Sunanda ma'am. Okay, can somebody please elaborate? Wife.
Really, it would be wonderful
Okay.
to know from Sunanda why the housekeeper is the wrong answer. If she can put it in the chat box, the reason, Sunanda. No, do you mean to say that the housekeeper is the murderer or the housekeeper is not the murderer, Sunanda?
The flag was set by the housekeeper. It was a Japanese cook. There was no need to put the wine barrels at place during a storm. Okay. Nandini ma'am writes housekeeper. Nandini ma'am, can you please elaborate why? Cook because he wants his money. Okay. Rani ma'am writes cook.
I love that thought.
All right. So moving ahead, captain's wife. Okay. Right. So
All right.
here, yeah. So I move on to the next slide, and which is an amalgamation of yet another strand of mathematical thinking, which is visualization. Maybe this helps in exploring the answer to the riddle above. The cook, as he was busy holding the barrels, which sounded genuine. Okay. Similarly, the ship's engineer and said that he was busy fixing the signal, and of course that was an important duty to do at that time. Similarly, the wife retreated below the deck, whereas the housekeeper said that he was fixing the flag that had turned upside down and was arrested. Now, we may pay attention to this, that here the flag, which was a Japanese flag, yes, that had turned upside down was this one that you can see on the screen, and therefore there was no need to fix it, and which is why he got caught and arrested. Right now, in a formal setup, exploration can also be seen in early childhood activities where once the children are born, they start exploring right from the beginning, and through their sensory motor experience like touch and express, taste and tell, and many more in the group. And this further builds up to the secondary and the senior secondary stage with the help of experimentation and simulation activities. So it is said that this exploration, it is designed to have students master the skill progressions and conceptual understanding for their success in the regular course of study. I hope I'm able to make my point clear.
Yes, Rolly. Thank you. That was a mind-tickling riddle, and you could see the kind of participation that we had. Friends, actually, due to the paucity of time, we are unable to share a few more riddles, in the same pattern. However, let me tell you, after going through all of these and during our kind of research on this topic, I think somehow it led me to conclude, maybe I'm generalizing the fact that, a whole lot of detectives, mystery writers, policemen, and all of them involved in the business of detecting things, perhaps are pretty high on this component of mathematical thinking. Apart from that, a whole lot of people with special abilities, let's say a hearing impaired or a visually impaired person, perhaps is again high on this aspect of mathematical thinking because they explore the world with one sense less, and therefore they are able to do it much faster. Their perceptions are much better than perhaps all of us who fall under what we call the normal category. Well, how often children and as teachers we have been chided and scolded several times for daydreaming. Well, today, we see how that visualization is an integral part of mathematical thinking. Ajay, you have a very interesting video on visualization. Would you love to share it?
Oh, sure, sir. Thank you very much for giving me this chance. Let us watch the video first, and then we are going to comprehend accordingly. And here it goes.
Jayji, can you check the audio?
Sir, it does not have any audio, sir.
Okay.
Now let us see what he is trying to do actually. I can see some figure was made. Oh my God. A three-dimensional shape that has come exactly on a two-dimensional sheet of paper. What a wonderful act of visualization. A three-dimensional shape. When I was a student in my school days in the middle school, I would never have thought of this. Wonderful piece of presentation. We all know that we all are 4 types of learners, but the visual impact is better for most of us. This is why even when we read a book or even a question as a word problem, we try to frame pictures in mind to read between the lines and understand the problem within the problem. I hope each one of us remembers the poems taught to us in primary classes, and each of them talks about visualization, like twinkle twinkle little star, how I wonder what you are. The word wonder here is talking all about this. और हिंदी में भी उठो लाल अब आंखें खोलो पानी लाई हूं मुंह धोलो बीती रात कमल दल फूले उनके ऊपर भंवरे झूले. तो कहीं ना कहीं विजुअलाइजेशन की बात माँ अपने बच्चे को समझा रही है. Somewhere these poems trigger the stimulus for visualization right at the early age. So it can be said that visualization is a very powerful tool to understand a given problem. It means summoning up a mental image of something which would be a shape or a graph or a diagram or maybe a set of symbols or even some procedure. It allows for reducing complexity when dealing with a multitude of information. It goes well with subjects like physics, chemistry, and not to mention, definitely yes, mathematics. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ajay. दोस्तों, अगर प्रेजेंटेशन का यह भाग आपको पसंद आया है तो लाइक करें, शेयर करें और सब्सक्राइब करें. Thank you, Ajay. When I talk about visualization, my mind goes back to people who are well versed in psychology. There is a very strong connect between visualization and inspiration. They do go in hand. You know, very often psychologists use visualization as a part of their healing or the therapies. Therefore, you have one more proof to show that mathematical thinking can go beyond math. This slide nudges me to conjecture now on guesstimation. Gautam, can you elaborate on these two terms?
Sir, thank you very much, sir. Conjecturing arises when one notices a pattern that holds true for one or many cases. Conjecture can be proved to be fully acceptable by everyone. Once proved, it can also be referred to as a quote, theorem for some other proof. It is based on reasoning that develops statement. In other words, it is a conclusion or a proposition. Whereas estimation is when we know something close to it. Suppose I have to go to school from my home and it is around 14 kilometers and I take 30-35 minutes to reach there. And somebody asks me, what is your average speed? Having known the concept of speed time, I can calculate it easily and I can tell the approx value. So estimation is within certain boundary. Estimation is the process of finding an estimate or approximation, which is a value that is usable for some purpose, even if input data may be incomplete, uncertain, or unstable. The value is nonetheless usable because it is derived from the best information available. Whereas guess is an effort you make to imagine a possible answer or give an opinion when you cannot be sure if you are right. And these two words that is guess and estimation combines together to form guesstimation. To make it more interesting, I have an activity for you all, and I will appreciate and I will expect you all to participate in it enthusiastically, and the time limit for each is 10 seconds. So be very quick, and this activity is known as Emoji Kahoji. You can see an emoji on your screen. You have to guess the word which can be associated with this, and then you have to write your answer in the chat box. Your 10 seconds starts now. Yes, Ekta ma'am, Tulika ma'am, you have responded correctly. Wonderful answers. Few more replies. Yes, Vidya ma'am, Aarti ma'am. Yes, the time is up, and the correct answer to this emoji Kahoji is absolutely correct, and it is hockey. Now this is the second riddle. Emoji Kahoji, again, guess your answer in the chat box, please. Two words again will combine together. Carom, okay.
I'm
Few
sure
more
some of the
answers.
young monks will be able to guess the old monk.
Yes, the time is up for this. Let me tell you the correct answer. This is the combination of two words. One is a Ferrari car and another one is an old monk. Nilanjana ma'am, you must have guessed it correctly from now at least. This is Ferrum.
But Gautam, I think we could allow carom also, because it's a car and rum.
Car and rum.
Well,
Definitely.
that's a lower order thinking question, but ferrum would be a higher ordered answer.
Sure, sir. Okay. Next emoji is here. Again, you have two words to combine. Timer is ticking. Please put your answer in the chat box. Wonderful answer. I have seen few. Velocity is the correct answer for this. Well and city. Now again, here is one more emoji Kahoji for you all. Please see and write your answer in the chat box. Again, 10 seconds for it. Time is running. Oh, time is up and I couldn't find any answer.
Sunday, sunshine, moonlight.
So the correct answer to this emoji Kahoji is Suraj hua madham, Chand jalne laga, आसमां ये हाय क्यों पिघलने लगा मैं ठहरा रहा जमी चलने
गौतम अब ठहर जाओ भाई. तुम अभी ठहरो, गाने में भले ठहरे हो, यहाँ भी ठहर जाओ. Guesstimation friends, if you have enjoyed this activity, again let me say कि आप create करें और share करें बच्चों के साथ. It's a brilliant way to begin any class, and you can take it beyond mathematical thinking again. You could create emojis or maybe similar activities with visualization as a component and get children to guess and maybe estimate depending on the kind of subject that you're dealing with. It will be a brilliant way to either begin a class or even end a class. Great. So with that, we move on to the systematic and a logarithmic approach, which is normally related to math, science, and programming. However, the erudition of Ajay will show how this empty component can move beyond math. Ajay, over to you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks once again for picking me up for this. My video is not getting switched on. Nevertheless, I'll speak. I am trying to switch on my video. Nevertheless, it is a well-known fact that to reach to the exact solution to any problem, proper planning and apt execution are very important. And step-by-step procedure is the key to success. As an example, in computer science or any other programming language, algorithm, the linguistic step-by-step process, or the diagrammatic representation like the one on your screen tells us all about this. Just to add that an algorithm and a flowchart are interconvertible and lay the foundation of better understanding and long-lasting retention in not only computer science and web designing, but in any field. Even in English, when we come across to write a formal letter, the correct format is very much important. Imagine a formal letter written where the signature of the person who is writing is right at the top and the subject is right at the bottom. How would it look like? Or maybe, अगर हिंदी में या खाए बोराए जब वा पाए बोराए पहले बोला जाए और उसके बाद बोला जाए कनक कनक के सौगुनी मादकता अधिक आए, तो हमारे ख्याल से इसका अभिप्राय ही बदल जाता है, कोई मतलब निकलता ही नहीं। इसलिए सिस्टमैटिक अप्रोच का होना बहुत आवश्यक है। यहाँ तक कि संस्कृत में भी जो हम लोग ग्रामर में व्याकरण में पढ़ते हैं कर्ता ने कर्म को, उसके लिए भी 8 विभक्तियों का सिस्टमैटिक अप्रोच 1 to 1 अगर नहीं रखा जाएगा तो संस्कृत क्या किसी भी भाषा का व्याकरण पूरी तरह से बदल जाएगा और भाषा का प्रारूप ही पूरी तरह से बदल जाएगा, जो कि उसके ऊपर प्रतिकूल असर ही डालेगा। I would once again go back to our primary classes where writing notebooks for English, Hindi or math are specially designed in such a way that the systematic way of writing in that manner enables us to write legitimately even on a ruled paper or even a plain paper when we grow up. Therefore, systematic approach is very important. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ajay. I'm reminded of this wonderful grammar structure in English, where, if we don't use the correct structure, then the meaning can be very different, as illustrated in this sentence. I saw the Alps flying from London to Paris. The person was actually flying from London to Paris while he saw the Alps. But if you look at the sentence again, I saw the Alps flying from London to Paris, it would mean that the Alps were flying from London to Paris. And therefore, how the systematic thinking process is as important in languages as perhaps in other disciplines.
Exactly.
With that, we need to look at abstract thinking. And I wonder, Gautam, if abstract nouns in various languages are perhaps a result of abstract thinking. Will you throw light on that?
Sure, sir. Thank you very much. Abstract thinking is itself a word which is abstract in itself. Today, we are obsessed with data. Experts in every industry are finding ingenious ways to measure and depict millions of data points every day. But data is virtually worthless unless someone can look at the numbers, detect patterns, analyze what those patterns mean, and develop narratives to explain them to everybody else. The difference between collecting data and understanding its meaning is the difference between concrete and abstract thinking. Abstract thinking is the ability to understand concepts that are real, such as freedom or vulnerability, but which are not directly tied to concrete physical objects and experiences. Abstract thinking is the ability to absorb information from our senses and make connections to the wider world. A great example of abstract thinking at work is humor. Comedians are experts in abstract thinking. They observe the world around them. They detect incongruities, absurdities, and outrages, and they build jokes out of the unexpected connections. Abstract thinking is considered a high-order reasoning skill, like create things, speak figuratively, solve problems, understand concepts, analyze situations, form theories, put things in perspectives. Many of the tasks students perform in school are tied to abstract thinking. Math skills are often abstract. They rely on the ability to conceptualize numbers and operations without always putting their hands on physical objects. The study of language often involves analyzing and expressing abstract ideas, making generalizations about human nature and conflict, and learning to write figurative comparisons like metaphors and similes. History, social study, philosophy, and politics all require the ability to think generally about social problems and use ethical judgments. Science requires students to propose test, and revise hypotheses and theories. Apart from the academic aspects of school, navigating the complex social situations presented during a typical school days also involved abstract thinking. Over to you, sir.
गौतम, तुम्हारे गाने की प्रतिभा तो देख ली. होपफुली इन फ्यूचर तुम्हारा कॉमिक टाइमिंग भी दिखाओगे, मे बी एक कॉमेडियन बन के. थैंक यू वेरी मच. Gautam, your explanation reminds me of a Spanish painter called Pablo Picasso, whose mathematical thinking led him to move from the naturalist style of his painting, in which he began as an adolescent. But as he moved to adulthood, he moved from the naturalistic style to the cubist style. Initially, of course, cubism was looked down upon, but he perhaps at a later stage, maybe he was a person beyond his time, and therefore today he is considered the father of modern art. So as we move ahead, we will see a striking correlation between mathematical thinking and the arts. But for now, let me pause to pass the parcel back to Roli, who will share her ideas on generalization.
Very important component of mathematical thinking. Now, as we see that it is to observe the patterns they see in the relationship of a group of commands or questions and draw an inference in or the rule for the others. It is a statement that seems to be true in almost every situation, depending upon it being apt, appropriate, and relevant. So moving on to the next slide, we'll see here a very, very relevant example to this, that if a child learns to zip up the jacket, he definitely learns to do it in the backpack, and then he's the skill of, and then in the stroller, as we can see that the skill of zipping up is generalized. Similarly, thank you, sir. Now, a very relevant example for this is also the traffic lights. When people learn to respond differently to the red, green, and yellow lights and learn to differentiate too. Here, red relates to not only just the traffic light, but also to the wire, which denotes danger. And definitely this is also carried forward. This knowledge is also carried forward with the child when he goes to a buffet, and there the dishes which has a red circle on it, it is marked as a non-vegetarian. So definitely this skill of generalization moves on in our academic curriculum as well. Now here another example that we use for this is the periodic table that we often see, and all the elements which fall in a group, they display similar qualities, similar properties with a few exceptions, and so on. When we do it in biology, when we use the differentiation of vertebrates and invertebrates, so the example versus non-examples also may help the children to understand which will fall in which category and so on. Also, a very important, this was also when we had done in the activity of group formation with Ajay sir, we could notice that there also we could have generalized, we could have the groups which says all teachers teaching junior wing, or all teachers that are in the Department of English. So this is also an important form of generalization. Also in economics, when we use generalization to classify the sectors on the basis of economic activities, employment, and ownership, which may be public or private. So that's all for this topic of generalization, sir. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Roli. Well, as an admirer of all the languages, I can't resist but show how generalization is beyond the codification of languages. You know, we all know that the language came first. And in this case, we are very sure that the egg came before the chicken. The chickens came in the form of grammar, structure, and spellings, you know, by observers of language, close observers, intuitive observers of language, right from Panini to perhaps P.C. Wren. I think all the grammarians in this galaxy had oodles of mathematical thinking as a skill. Ajay, it's now your turn to show us the difference between, how you can incorporate mathematical thinking into various streams.
Well, thank you, sir, once again. Once again, it is not switching on. My video says the host has disabled it. Okay, let it be. I'm going to continue. As rightly started by Roli ma'am, in economics, we have the demand and supply curves, the computation of index numbers or the regression lines all need mathematical thinking. In geography, the contour mapping is totally based on mathematical thinking. In political science, the process of formation of government or analysis of exit polls, everywhere it is mathematical thinking. In psychology, the study and prediction of human behavior is only on the basis of mathematical thinking. In accounts, BST, etc., etc., and the list continues. In fact, let me tell you that mathematical thinking exists since the existence of this universe and nature. The golden ratio talks all about this. The human physiology is based on it. The ratio between the measure of body length above the navel and below it, the length of the face to its breadth, ears, arms, and likewise all other body parts are designed by God in the same manner. In architecture, the Taj Mahal, the pyramids at Giza, the Eiffel Tower, or any other skyscraper are beautiful and eye-catching as the dimensions are made keeping in mind the golden ratio, which is nothing but mathematical thinking. The same golden ratio is existing in all the flowers and petals, the butterfly, the snail, or even an egg, or a wave in an ocean or any other water body. Thus, it can be said that mathematical thinking is the only basis of all the subjects and streams. Now we reach up to the slide where we have to go for an activity, and which reminds me that I had asked you people to remember the name of the group whichever you were in. And please, if you can have a notice, it is the full form of the acronym mathematics as maximize analysis towards holograph, evolute matchless attitude, therefore innovate companion striker. It is a complete sentence within itself, and if we are able to completely analyze our within, that is inner being, then we would be able to evolute most important trait, which is attitude, and thus we can innovate the companion within ourselves who would definitely strike the bullseye. So you have 30 seconds to find some pattern in this sentence, the words that it is that those are able to be seen over here. The time has started. Remember the name of your group. Some match with the name of the group also is here. Time is ticking away. Nevertheless,
we are looking for answers in the chat box.
I'm going to provide you with some hints. You are free to post your answers in the chat box. Even if you would have gone for some other group, this is the hint. Even if you would have gone for some other group, still you would be at par with others, as all are somehow %. You can post your answers in the chat box in the next 5 seconds. Someone gave the answer mathematics, okay. The next hint is, if you give numeral values to each alphabet, starting with A equal to 1, B equal to 2, and so on, and then for each of these words, do you find some pattern?
Those familiar with numerology will be able to do this very quickly.
Now I have given you sufficient hint for this. A equal to 1, B equal to 2, C 3, Z 26. Never mind. If you do like this and find the sum total of the numeral equivalent equivalent to each of the letters within each of the words of this sentence or the name of the group which you were in, the sum total of each of these is equal to 100. Someone gave the answer 110. It is actually 100. That is why I gave you the hint, the first hint, as you all were actually at par by being cent%. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ajay, for that logical grouping of words based on numerology. Over to Gautam now to tell us the difference between logical thinking and mathematical thinking.
Thank you very much, sir. It is always related. Whenever we talk about logical thinking, whenever we talk about logical thinking, even in multiple intelligence, we connect it with mathematics. Moving ahead, I would like to do one. I would like to show you one video which is based on this, and I would request you all to try to solve the question. If
Gautam, we'll need the audio.
is the audio not?
No, it's not audible. Gautam, you might like to explain over the voice if the audio is not.
Okay. So this question is based on the activity where we have seen three milestones, and a car is traveling to each within the same time duration. We have to find the speed of the car. When we try to solve it mathematically, we can easily solve it using algebra, and we can get the correct answer. Let's see how we are trying to solve it using a logical approach. M1 and M2.
Yeah, Aarti, I know it's not audible. That is why Gautam had explained the entire problem.
Now, if you look at the numbers given in the bracket right below, if we try to figure it out, which digit should be in the 10th place of M1 and which ones place of M1 and which digit should be in the 10th place of M2, we can easily exclude 10 from there. So 10 cannot be the number. For 11, if we see, if we are putting 1 to the M1, one's place of M1 and 10th place of M2, both numbers will have same values, and which is not possible because car is moving with uniform velocity. So we can exclude two numbers. When we take out 12, when we take 12 for M1, we see that 2 is at the ones place, and then 21 will be on M2. So difference between 12 and 21 is very small, whereas difference between 21 and 102 will be too large. And since the car is moving with same velocity, the distance between these two milestones, covered distance between these two milestones should be equal. So to get to the right place, we can choose the middlemost value, which is 15 and 16. While checking these 15 and 16, these two values, we get to know that only 16 can be the eligible value, and 6 will be at the ones place of M1 and at the 10th place of M2 and again at the ones place of M3. So as we can see, logical thinking is the rational cognitive process of reflecting objective reality actively with the help of concept, judgment, reasoning, and other forms of thinking. Through abstraction and analysis and thinking about the sensual materials, and the thinking process of discarding the dross and selecting the essential, eliminating the false, and retaining the true, Getting from one to the other, getting from the outside to the inside, logical thinking requires us to put the specific image and individual properties of things aside, reveal the properties and nature of things, form concepts and use them to the judge and reason to reflect the objective reality generally and indirectly. Revealing the nature of the things through abstractive gives it the feature of consciousness, process, and necessity. The basic form of logical thinking includes concept, judgment, and reasoning. Logical thinking mainly include induction and deduction, analysis and synthesis, as well as from the abstract to the concrete and so on. While mathematical thinking is a lot more than just being able to do arithmetic or solve algebra problems. It is a whole way of looking at things, stripping them down to their essentials, whether it's numerical, structural, or logical, and then analyzing the underlying patterns. Math is about patterns. When we are teaching a mathematical method, we are showing something that happens all the time, something that happens in general. Getting students to see these underlying structures, whether it is a math problem in society or in nature, is one of the reasons that studying mathematics is so worthwhile. It transforms math from drudgery to artistry. Mathematical thinking is based on intuitive conclusions. Those are derived from the facts, figures, and lots of processing over the data and information collected related to the certain field. For example, an organization works and progress on the objective reality about the potential of its employees and workers. So basically, we can say that logical thinking is a subset of mathematical thinking.
Gautam, can we just stay on this slide? Don't change the slide. I just had a thought that immediately triggered. I wonder if I'm right when I say that the difference between logical thinking and mathematical thinking is reflected in the fact that there is an arithmetic progression and a geometric progression, or perhaps the exponentials formula, where I think people arrived after they understood the logic of, that we had the story that was shared in one of our maths department about some king asking one of his ministers to take a grain, place one grain on the first chess box and then double it as it goes. So perhaps that is people with mathematical thinking perhaps are able to even bring it down to formulas. And I'm reminded of Shakuntala Devi again, who perhaps would be able to skip all the logical steps and arrive quickly at the answer, which perhaps shows that she had a greater sense of mathematical thinking than perhaps just the logical thinking. Well, Gautam, you also mentioned patterns and artistry. That is what I'm going to talk about now. Friends, if you look at these paintings, these are images of certain tribal paintings. The first two, 1 and 2, are from the Maori paintings in New Zealand. The one in blue is from Greece. And on the right side, number 4, is perhaps an Egyptian tribal painting. Now, if you compare these, due to paucity of time, I have not shown you the other slides. But if you compare these patterns and these tribal paintings to some of the tribes in India, or to some of the tribal art that we had in India, we will see that what Gautam was talking about, how artistry is perhaps math. And I was wondering whether in this case, the chicken or the egg, whether art came first or math came first. But my wonder got an answer when Gautam used the word intuitive thinking. I think intuition is something that we have all tried to ignore in our field of education. Somehow, with an excessive focus on logic, we seem to have forgotten to develop the intuitive potential of children right from an early age. I remember when children first look at a tree, and then without, of course, going through an art class, if they are asked to paint or draw a tree, they, of course, don't know the size and proportion or the golden ratio that we do in math, and yet they are able to bring in replica. The art teachers, when you do a still life painting, you also will remember how, without telling them initially of the size and proportion and scale, they are able to draw things. So when people have this intuitive thinking, which again is a very strong link to mathematical thinking, I think they are better off and a little over than just mere logic, which is pure, perhaps drudgery, as I would say, when compared to a creative thought of math. With that and this final visualization, we are leaving it to you as to why only the head of the deer or the doe, whichever he or she is visible, and how this little tree is, able to cover up the entire body of the deer. So I think with this, Siddharth ji, the prosecution or the defense, as you may take it, rests its case and invites questions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ajay ji, Roli ma'am, and Gautam ji. I think this was a great presentation. I really took down a couple of points. I really believe visualization is a superb way, and the podcast that we are doing is also to help children visualize. जब कहानी हम सुनाते हैं या पॉडकास्ट में कुछ चर्चा करते हैं, that is when जब आप किसी चीज को सुन रहे हैं, आप अपने दिमाग में उसका कुछ इमेज बनाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, and that is one of the bigger reasons why we do podcast. So that is one of the reasons why we do podcast. And like everybody, Ajay ji and Gautam ji shared today how important is visualization, which was really nice. A lot of today's discussion, what you have shared, took me back to the math meeting, the Thursday's math meeting that we had, wherein we discussed what's the purpose of math. I remember the initial meetings we had, we discussed what was the purpose of math. And I really enjoyed, the guesstimation that you talked about. And I had really not thought of it, but I believe Roli ma'am shared this, that the purpose of math is also to predict. So I believe, I was really, really happy, it was really different for me to know that, yes, math could, and once that was shared by Roli ma'am, I also realized that, okay, absolutely, that's a great skill to have to predict. Gautam ji ki आवाज बहुत ही सुरीली थी, and I'm sure everybody enjoyed that. So today's mathematical thinking really shared with everybody that why is math important, and and why is there so much of stress of math. जो teachers ये सोचते थे कि भाई math बहुत जरूरी नहीं है, और हम बच्चों को ये बोल सकते हैं कि भाई जब से जल्दी पाला छूटे math से, उस समय आप छुड़ा सकते हो, उस समय तक तो करना ही है. I think that's not an option. Because what today's presentation told us, that it's ingrained in each and every aspect of our life. Ajay ji, if I'm right, जो फूल में जो पेटल होती है, उसकी जो हर एक जो पेटल होता है, उसका जो रेशियो होता है, that is also this golden, and I think the golden ratio is the Fibonacci series का ratio.
Yes, it's right, sir.
That's
yes,
true.
Sir.
Right. So it's there everywhere, and like all of you really well shared with everybody. So maths को छोड़ करके चलना is not an option, and I believe today's presentation really gave everybody an idea कि maths को कैसे थोड़ा मोड़ा बच्चों को बताया जा सकता है कि भाई यहाँ पे इंग्लिश में भी मैथ है, या I think Suvarna shared something कि smaller or bigger number के लिए भी हम एक algorithmic sheet दे सकते हैं. So those are some great ideas, and I'm sure today's presentation will bring in a lot of curiosity to the teachers and entice some really nice ideas that we can derive from this. Yes. So anybody else, Bhaiya, Pushpi ma'am, anybody else would like to share anything, any questions from anyone, please feel free to put it in the chat box or Q&A.
Yeah, a very good presentation, Mukesh sir and the entire team. देख करके मजा भी आया, और as I walked into the meeting a little late, I think we were discussing about visualization, and if you've heard of visualization, not just in mathematics, but in your day-to-day lives also. If you do visualization early in the morning, if you hear any of the gurus, they'll talk about visualization for your day. Try visualizing how your day is going to be, and you would see that come true. So I think that session was really interesting. I was taken, it was a roller coaster ride where there was thrill, excitement, and Gautam sir really, entertained us with his musical notes also. And I think Mukesh sir, the important thing from this is aapke presentations are always very good, and more than that, what is important from this as a takeaway for all of us is, if we are able to take this into our classrooms and we are able to take this to our students, and that is where, as they say, the last mile connectivity in everything is very, very important. So no matter how good we do the presentations here, if we are not putting it in the classroom in front of our students, it's not going to help. I'm sure a lot of you have a lot of takeaways from this. If yes, please put it in the chat box and show your appreciation for this session for the team. And over to you, Siddharth, and anybody else would like to chip in. A great presentation, Mukesh sir, and the entire team. I know you guys have been working on this for some time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, just give me a yes in the chat box if you can see my screen, or Mukesh sir, if you can.
Yes, sir, I can see the.
All right. So this is a small initiative I wanted to start today, so I'm going to invite Ritu ma'am to share her story of not going back. So Ritu ma'am, over to you.
Yeah, good evening, sir. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, Ritu.
Just let me, yeah. Okay. Good evening to one and all. So, I'm here to share my views. It was a long journey for me. And I remember, sir, that just before we left the school for the lockdown due to COVID-19, we had a meeting with you regarding goals of the school, and we identified many, which included critical thinking and effective communication, inculcating values and others. So the very thought of teaching online using technology, oh my God, was a Herculean task. And I had sleepless nights because I was layman in technology and had a fear how long I would survive in the world of technology. Then, you know, every dark cloud has a silver lining. So came all the workshops and webinars arranged by DPS. I got hands-on experience in technology. The use of various tools like which were never heard of, which were never used before, like Kahoot, Padlet, Jamboard, Whiteboard, and the list is endless. And by using active learning strategies like inquiry-based learning, peer teaching, flipped classroom, see, pair and share, and then the list is endless. I found that my teaching became very impactful. So through these different approaches in learning, I gained a better understanding of how best to govern my classrooms and also to implement instruction and get connected with my students. And with the new technology, I mean to say with the new methods of technology, I found that the learning among students was active learning, and they played very important role in it. And this made them more responsible because they were off and on put up many questions, and there was lots of interaction happening. And also with this new technology, I found that, like, you know, the students were very confident and they knew the importance of teamwork. And because they had lots of community. Hello, yes, sir.
I'm going to stop you. My question to you here is, are you going back to the same Ritu Mathur that was there before COVID?
No. Sure, yeah, because, you know, there is like so much growth. Because I feel, yeah, of course, like initially before this pandemic, we all use the traditional method of teaching. But now with knowing of the technology, right, I feel somewhere it has to be a blended teaching, sir. because these thoughts together put, there is a holistic development in the students too. And this method, blending of new and old, the teacher knows about the strengths and weaknesses of the students and makes the classroom very interesting. So asking if you are telling me, I would never like to go back to the old traditional style. It is better to opt for the new ways, which makes your classroom very interesting, and the children are like, they would like to come to your class again and again.
Super, brilliant, Ritu ma'am. Thank you for sharing your
Thank you so much, sir.
Your hashtag not going back story. I'm going to invite Ashwini. Ashwini, if you would like to share your hashtag not going back story, and maybe not more than a minute and a half, because we're really
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Good evening to one and all present here. I am Ashwini Gambhir from DPS Lava, Nagpur. Thank you, Principal Madam, for giving me this opportunity to talk about hashtag not going back. I had never thought about taking classes online, but this pandemic has taught us so many things. One thing I'm not going to stop when I go back to my classroom is care calling. We, the teachers at DPS Lava, Nagpur, do the care call to one parent every day. And I'm a nursery class teacher, and I have never met my students and the parents. I have met them only virtually. And even I'm really happy to whom I haven't met even once, they share their problems with me. And in the beginning, the entire family was a part of my classroom. Gradually, the children got used to the virtual classroom and parents began trusting me. The care
Ashwini,
calls...
are you going to go back?
No. This is the
Super.
thing that I'm really thankful to Gautam sir for this amazing idea. And this is what I'm going to continue. That the care calls really made them, and this thing built trust in me. So I'm not going to back, and I'll follow this thing. When I go back.
Super,
Yes.
brilliant. Thank you, Ashwini,
Thank you
for
so much, sir. Thank you so
coming
much.
in and sharing this. I'm for sure not going back. The lockdown has really made me start a lot of good stuff for myself, and I'm sure I'm not going back as well. So use this. I'm inviting all of you to use this hashtag and let us put in our COVID stories on the social media and tag each other and put in many words, what did you learn, a good habit or something that you did for your children, and if you're not going back, if you're going back or not going back to your earlier self, your pre-COVID self, if I may say it. I'm going to invite Pankaj ji to share the poll that I have for all of you. We have no time, so that's why I'm rushing through this. We'll definitely have more hashtag not going back stories in the coming CC Fridays. So I have this poll. If all of you will answer this poll, it will show us where we want CC Fridays to go, right? So this is a help that you will be doing for me and our leadership team to decide how we want to take the CC Fridays forward. Okay. All right. Okay, superb. So I'm counting till 10 and we have another 10 seconds. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll just wait for another couple of seconds. We have about 107 people who voted already, and we have 200 people. So maybe another 5-7 seconds. Quickly, if you can vote, and that will help us understand where we want to go further, whether we want to do 2 CC Fridays in a month or 4, whether we want, what's being executed in the class or some new ideas, whether we want, presentations from the same school, or we want presentations which is a mix. The idea of doing this is that CC Fridays remains relevant and it doesn't go and it doesn't become something that you just have to come to. You should be looking forward to come to this. Done. Pankaj, if we can end the poll and just share the results with everybody. Okay. So would you like to have 2 or 4 CC Fridays? I'm sure everybody, that's what I'd like to have 2 of them. What would you like to see in CC Fridays? So it's a mix of what's being executed and some good ideas. That's really nice to know. That's great. What would you like to see? All speakers from one school or a mix of speakers? All right, so that's also both of the above, and there's no one winner, which absolutely stands out. Great. So this really helps us going forward what we want to do with CC Fridays, and this tells us that you're enjoying being a part of CC Fridays and you're learning from CC Fridays, and definitely wait for more hashtag not going back stories in the weeks to follow. So Mukesh sir, Pushpi ma'am, Gautam sir, would you like to share a hashtag not going back story, and then we can end this?
I would definitely love to, sir. In fact, as I have been keep telling my team, I was a pretty inept technologist. And I think with the inspiration that both of you, as I call it, the power of 2, I have really got into technology today. And these words, Nearpod and all those which were jargon to me some time ago, today are very real. And some of them I can really use. And this morning I was sharing with the team during our mathematical rehearsal as to how, I want to update myself with even Photoshop now. And Aman, who is my teacher, in all these things, they refuses to teach me Photoshop because he said, "Agar aap ye sab seekh jayenge, to hum kahan jayenge?" But yes, I would definitely not like to go back to any of those written modes. And I must say that ever since the technology has started, I've started using, my handwriting has gone from bad to worse, which my coordinators will know because they found it a little difficult to decipher the parameters of the discussion, the developmental discussion pointers that I had given to them. But kudos to both of you. I think thank you so much for bringing us onto this path. And this is here to stay, and nobody would like to go back, I'm sure.
Superb, sir. Bhaiya or Pushpi ma'am, anyone? Yeah.
Pushpi ma'am, would you like to go first?
Yeah, thank you, sir. Well, during this pandemic, the most important thing that I as a principal experienced was to connect with the parents on virtual PTMs. So even going forward, if I have to connect with a particular section, for example, 9th A, so once in a while, I would like to continue because there are times when people do not report to the school or they have apprehensions. But in the online PTM, most of the parents, they love to join, and it is a very personal and very open connect with the parents in the virtual. So I would like to continue that going forward as well. So that is my learning as a principal.
Superb. Thank you, ma'am.
I would like to continue doing the decision making, which is going to be inclusive. I think in the lockdown, we did a lot of that. We had all of you together in a lot of things that we decided. We had the parents on board on a lot of things, and I think that is going to stay. We are going to be using a lot of these collaborative tools. One of them you just saw was a poll that we did, and I think that is the power of technology, and we are going to use that. Secondly, I think what is going to happen for us as 3 schools is that the knowledge sharing that we have been able to do using technology is going to be there. We have just unleashed the plethora of knowledge that all of us combined have, and so many different backgrounds with so much diverse information that all of us share. I think the platform that we created, wherein email IDs were shared from different departments, you could reach out to teachers in different schools. If you were facing an issue in your school and you needed help with a senior teacher in another school, you could reach out to that. I think that is a great platform, and that is here to stay. And lastly, I think connect with all of you on a one-on-one basis like this, where we can share our thoughts and ideas, and we can hear about your things that you're doing in your classroom, which were which were very difficult to do for all the 3 schools together. So these are the things I think that's going to stay, and I don't think I want to go back on any of them. I think there are so many things that we did that I don't want to go back on, and the list is endless. The podcasts that we've been doing, the lovely newsletters that have been made with the students, teachers, the training sessions, and the updates that keep coming on the WhatsApp groups by various teachers, whatever they find online, a good article or a good piece of information they would like to share. So I think the list is endless. I mean, whatever we've achieved in this, kudos to the entire team and to the leadership, to the 3 principals, the coordinators. I think there's not a thing that I would say that I would like to go back on. I think we've crossed that bridge now. And on a lighter note, when I walked into the training session, I think there was a riddle going on as to who the murderer was. When I read that, I was very sure that it is the wife, because more often than not, it is the wife who would murder the husband. So
I hope Sanjana is not listening, Gautam sir.
That is why I can take the liberty to say this. But when I read it, I was very sure that it was.
No, we are not pleased to hear that.
It's vice versa also. So that was that. A great effort by everybody through this lockdown. So hashtag not going back is definitely going to stay. That is one thing that is definitely going to stay. Over to you, Siddharth.
We see that change is constant, and even CC Fridays needs a revamp. And similarly, all of our classroom instructions needs a revamp every now and then. So change is the only constant, and that's what is here to stay. There's nothing that remains forever, right? So it's always, we're always on the learning curve, and that's why we stay relevant. So on that note, thank you for coming in for the CC Fridays. To the science teachers, you have to bear with me for another 20 minutes. And Pankaj, please share the link for that meeting. The others may want to leave, and the webinar will end in another 5 minutes.
Siddharthji, is the principal required?
Sir, your call.
No, then I would need the link.
Yeah, it's coming in the chat box.
Sure,
Pankaj, are you sharing the link? Or maybe the science teachers can just stay on this webinar, and we'll continue our discussion while the others may leave if they want to.
That would be good.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, the link there, let's go to that link so that we all can talk. Pankaj, can you please repost the link, because thank you. Please stop posting thank you so that the link is there. Okay, where did this link go?
Why don't we just continue on this? I think we are all the science teachers and all are here, and whoever stays can stay. I mean, that's your choice.
Okay, take it. Then let's do that. Okay. So if there's any science teacher who wants to speak up, just raise your hand, and you can unmute you, or Pankaj ji will unmute you, and you can speak up and share. Or so this meet would be relevant, and it will be interesting if there's a two-way communication that happens, right? So it will be really nice if I'm not going to keep you waiting, maybe just maximum 5 to 10 minutes. Yes. Okay. So I hope all of you know that we've been doing a math teachers meet, which is happening every Thursdays. So give me a yes in the chat box if you are aware of that. All right, great. So most of you are aware of math meet that's happening. So what actually happens in the math meet is, every teacher presents a lesson, and there's a lot of sharing. People are so if say I am a teacher from one of the schools, and I present what I taught or I'm going to teach, and the others give some wishes and stars. So a wish is something that that person would like lesson plan to go to somewhere else, and a star is something that is good about that lesson plan, right? So everybody gives a wish and a star, or a few people give a wish and a star. And over the last 7-8 months, what has happened, that if I made a lesson plan, that lesson plan was then shared in a Google Classroom, which was created for all science teachers of all the schools, and all of them are, you know, students in that Google Classroom. Now, what has happened over the last 7-8 months, that very, very good, really top-notch lesson plans have been put up in that Google Classroom for various lessons across the grade, from grade 3 to 12. And there can be a lot of sharing that happens through those lesson plans. So koi bhi, say a teacher from Nasik can pick up a lesson plan from a teacher from Nagpur, a teacher from Nagpur can pick up a lesson plan from someone from Varanasi. So there's a lot of sharing happening, and you know, you can pick up the plan and then tweak it to yourself. You liked something someone presented, you can pick it up if you're going to teach that later. So that I saw that it really helped the maths teachers plan better lessons. And it's an ongoing process, right? They're still doing those Thursday meetings, they're still working on their plannings, and every time they meet, they're looking to improve on what they've planned earlier, and it's an iterative process, right? So so currently, and you know what we also did, we chose one framework. We chose one framework under which we started all the planning. So there was this mathematician called Joe Bowler. We took a framework from her work, from her research, and we implemented that framework. Everybody, each and every teacher liked the framework, and they put in their lesson plans within that framework. So कुछ भी उन्होंने चेंज नहीं किया, जो वो लेसन प्लान कर रहे थे, more or less say 70% of it was the same. But what the framework told them कि कैसे फ्लो करना है कंटेंट को, उनको बताया गया कि कंटेंट को कैसे फ्लो करना है, कौन सा चीज पहले आना चाहिए, फिर क्या आना चाहिए, फिर क्या आना चाहिए. A lot of the times हम बहुत अच्छी एक्टिविटीज करते हैं, हम बहुत सारे अच्छे एक्सप्लेनेशंस देते हैं, बट वो एक दूसरे पे बिल्ड नहीं करते हैं. वो कभी कभार हम बच्चों को zigzag प्रोसेस में ले जाते हैं, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट zigzag प्रोसेस बहुत ज्यादा कभी कभार इफेक्टिव लर्निंग नहीं होती. मैं ये सबके लिए नहीं बोल रहा हूँ, बट फॉर सम पीपल बहुत ज्यादा इफेक्टिव लर्निंग नहीं होती. सो थ्रू दिस I'm initiating a series of these meetings which we do twice a month. So अगर हम CC Fridays को महीने में 2 बार करते हैं, so the other 2 Fridays we'll do some meetings with the science department. All of us will come together on one forum and we'll do something like this, जिसमें कि we'll be presenting and sharing our work with everybody so that everybody is learning from there. So we'll schedule our next meeting for the coming Friday. And you'll get an email from the professional development cell for the next meeting. But before you come into that next meeting, I'm going to share an email with you, which will have 2 or 3 reading material, right? So, and it will be very small, so maybe 1 or 2 pages. Sorry, this poll is popping up. So it will be very small, maybe 1 or 2 pages. I really want all of you to read on 2 of these concepts. One is constructivism. I'm going to type that in the chat box. The first one is constructivism, and the second one is
it collectivism, Siddharth?
Constructivism.
No, that's first. The second one, is it collectivism?
No, it's 5E instructional model.
Okay.
I'm typing that. So I want you to Google these 2 words out and you will get a plethora of stuff, right? I want you to go through it, and maybe in the next Friday, we'll share and discuss about what actually is constructivism and what is the 5E instructional model, and then we'll see what we actually want to do from these 2 theoretical approaches that is there, right? Is that very clear to everybody? Am I clear and am I understood by everybody? Just give me a yes in the chat box.
Sir, if I just may add,
Yes, sir.
there is this very beautiful, paper on constructivism to collectivism. If that also, some of us could read that would give us a greater idea as to how we moved from constructivism to collectivism.
You can share that, sir, with
Sure, I'll do that.
me, and I can share it with everybody. If you
I'll do that.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely, Rekha. Engage, explore, explain. Yes, that's what is the 5E model. So engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. So I'll be sharing a paper on that. I'll be sharing the paper that Sir talks about, and I'll be sharing 1 or 2 small write-ups about constructivism. But feel free to Google about these things and you'll get a plethora of stuff. You'll get a lot of stuff about constructivism and the 5E theoretical approach, instructional model. It's the best way to teach science. According to a lot of research, that's the best way to teach science. So we'll discuss about that in the next meet, and the meet link will be shared by the PD cell. All right, so looking forward to starting a bi-weekly meeting with the science department from the coming week.
Also, if both all of us could Google Piaget and Gotskowski, then we will be able to understand constructivism and collectivism also.
So Piaget, sir, says is the social
constructive. He's the father of constructivism, and Vygotsky talked about collectivism.
Absolutely. I'll type those words in as well, so you can just copy those and just Google them, and I'll share some material. So whatever you can, read small little things. There will be a lot of videos that you can watch as well. But if you will read a little bit and come to this meeting, it will really help all of us brainstorm, and it will help us chalk our path forward in terms of science education at our schools. Right. So thank you on that note, and apologies for extending today's CC Fridays by half an hour. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.